The buying public has been waiting anxiously for. It's this one, the 1984 Corvette. Joining me now is Tony Morris. Tony, the most obvious change from last year is the body styling of this year's Corvette. Does it appeal to you?
Very much, Dave. I think at last Detroit have got into the European styling in the cars, and this is what GM have been wanting for many years, and they've achieved it at last.
And if you think it looks good standing still, wait till you see it in motion. In a 1984 Corvette, when you're talking about motion, it's bound to be rapid. Apart from the body, there are relatively few major changes from last year's Corvette. It still sports Chevy's tried-and-true 350 engine, putting out just over 200 horsepower thanks to its crossfire injection system. The power flows to the rear wheel through a 4-speed automatic transmission. No manual is available this year, but there is talk of a 4-speed manual coming available for '85. 4-wheel independent suspension and 4-wheel disc brakes have both been retained, as has Corvette's famous rust-proof fiberglass body. So while it may sound like this Corvette is like other Corvettes, nothing could be further from the truth. This year's car has been leaned down in every aspect, and then had oodles of the latest high-tech bells and whistles added to make it more like driving a video arcade than a car until you get used to it. The price tag for all these fun and games? Between $30,000 and $32,000. Now here's Tony's driving analysis of the '84 Corvette.
The new '84 Corvette excels the older Corvettes in many, many ways. One of the main things that I would give a very big plus to would be the way the suspension is working. It's far in excess of 20% better than the old car. They have also got special tires in this car made by Goodyear. They're called Gator tires. They're in 16-inch, which is very unusual for a street car, but it gives a very low aspect ratio from the wheel to the top of the tire. And as a result, it makes the car handle really well. And this is what we've noticed in the car today, that it handles really well. The car sits down in the corner, and the car handles excellently as far as the tires and the suspension go. All your instruments in front of us are all digital, very easy to read. You have little levers inside the cockpit here where you can change and read your oil pressure, your oil temperature, your coolant temperature, and your voltage. You also have a way to work out in the computer of your mileage that you're going to do, how many miles you've done, the miles per gallon, all reading out right in front of you, where you don't really have to take your eyes off the road too much to look down now and again and see where your average miles are. The door situation, it is quite tight. I certainly wouldn't recommend it to an 80-year-old lady, but it's certainly fine for MD in the Corvette age group, which obviously ranges from 16, if they're very lucky, to around about 45. The one thing that really impresses me between the old car and the new car is the peripheral vision. In other words, you get a beautiful vision all the way right across the car. The seat is very easily adjustable, especially for small women who drive the car. You can pull the seat right up high and drop the seat back down again very easily. And it allows you to get into a very, very comfortable driving position, which is really important with the horsepower this car's got. It's got the usual Chevrolet Corvette horsepower. They haven't taken anything away in '84 for that. The only thing they have taken away is they've taken away the 5-speed or the 4-speed transmission, which has been available in the past. It's only being offered with automatic transmission. It's a 4-speed automatic, but if you do use the gears as I have been using today and come down the box, it works out great. The car is definitely a pleasure to drive. It's rather rough in the suspension on the highway. However, I think that you would forgive that for the handling that you get. In today's test, I would give this car a good 8.3, and that's, as we said before, with a turbo Porsche at a 10.
There is a catch-22 to the '84 Corvette, though. The extremely stiff suspension got high marks from Tony, but it also got the most criticism when I asked him what he liked least about the car.
It's a hard ride. I think, as we've discussed earlier on, the ride is definitely hard, and it will be off-putting for some people. If it's a hardcore sports car enthusiast, there'll be no problem. They'll very much enjoy it. But if it's the normal old lady driving along the street, she would definitely not buy a 1984 Corvette.
It is a $30,000 plus motor car. Is it worth it?
Yes, it definitely is.
The car is a little difficult to get into because of the wide sill. However, once you're inside, it's well worthwhile. Our thanks to General Motors for supplying us with the '84 Corvette, and our thanks, as always, to Tony Morris of Circuit Tire. We'll be back next week with another edition of Auto Check. For Vancouver, I'm David Kincaid.